Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you the way to find the best sensitivity in Rainbow Six Siege. This could also be applied for other games, so today we're going to be specifically talking about Rainbow Six Siege. So before you guys ask any questions, if you want to know my mouse or my keyboard or anything like that, that's always down below. It's under my setup. All you have to do is just click on that, and that link will send you to all of my setup, everything that I have. So before you comment asking anything, watch the whole video through. That seems to be a common thing anytime I do a tip video is I say exactly what the comment is, but they ask it anyway. So that's how I know if you guys aren't watching the whole thing through. So if you have a question, remember to watch the whole video. And if I don't answer it, then of course I'll answer it in the comment. Well, anyways, let's get right into this. This is going to be for console and PC. So I have to separate these videos in two different sections. So the first section will be PC. That's going to be the majority of the video. And then we'll talk about console. Now console is very straightforward. So that's going to be easy peasy. But if you're just looking for that, you can go ahead and skip there. But there's going to be tips for everyone throughout this entire video. So you might want to stick around if you're console. But I will leave a timestamp down below in the description. So guys, I just recently changed senses. Just to give you guys a reference, I was on 400 DPI 6.6. And I have since changed up to 800 DPI 11.11. So if you guys didn't notice, that's a very big shift. Now I'm going to give you the reason why I did it, mostly just because I wanted to feel something different with my sensitivity. Things get a little bit boring, and I like being able to adjust to new things. Whenever I'm adjusting to new things, I notice that I play better in game too because I have to think a little bit harder. So that's my reasoning behind that, but I've had to relearn how to do my sensitivity from scratch. And I found this sensitivity by doing these exact things I'm going to show you here. So we could start off, and you could obviously always just go copy my setting, copy Take-Kill settings, copy Bolo settings, whoever you want, copy any pro. I'll give you guys a reference for that just so you guys can see what other pros are rocking with. But you got to note that your setup's probably different, your mouse might be different, your FOV might be different, and everything that I talked about right there has to be the same if you guys actually truly want to copy someone's sense. So I would only use prosettings.net to get a reference. So as you guys could see, you could see everyone's sensitivity and calculate everyone's eDPI. So before we get into the settings, the meat of the video, we got to talk about DPI, eDPI, and horizontal and vertical. So the dots per inch, the DPI might be the most important one here because you could copy anyone's pretty much every sensitivity, but if you don't have the same DPI, you're going to be mightily off whenever it comes down to actually copying someone's sense. So for the most part, you're going to want to fall somewhere between 400 and 1600. Anything above that might report some hardware issues. Now, newer hardware doesn't have this issue, but older hardware had issues with higher DPIs, and lower DPIs definitely benefited greatly, but anywhere between 400 and 1600 is somewhere where I would lie. I would probably go on your desktop, see what you want to be browsing with, like on Google and whatnot, and then you can adjust your game accordingly. At the end of the day, it does not matter. So for example, we could look at Bolo's sense. I think he's running 400 DPI 9 horizontal, 9 vertical. So effectively his eDPI is 400 times 9. So that would give us 3600 eDPI. Now, respectively, someone on 800 DPI can go the same thing with 4.5 sensitivity. As you guys could see, 400 times 4.5, that's going to give you the same 3600. So ultimately, your DPI does not matter. That's why I would say just get something that's comfortable for you on your home screen on Google and rock with that. For me, that seems to be 800. It used to be 400, but 800 is just a little bit more comfortable on the wrist. But to finalize that, don't listen to anyone whenever they say, oh, 400 DPI is for lower sense, 800s for higher. It does not matter. I see that on these videos of people talking about how to find your sensitivity, but it's just not true. You could just adjust your in-game sensitivity to correct anything that you might have changed by changing your DPI. So next up, we obviously got to talk about in-game sensitivity since that's the main basis of this video. And first and foremost, we got to look at Rainbow Six Siege and see what type of game it is. For the most part, this is a very low time to kill game, so it's very fast is what that means. So first bullet accuracy is really what matters, and that's why you're going to see a lot of pros rocking lower sensitivity. However, that does not mean that you need to be going very low sensitivity. There's advantages to high sensitivity. The ones that I definitely took into account whenever I decided to make the switch over is hard flicks. I can make very, very large flicks without having to throw my mouse off the mouse pad. That's always nice to me, and that's one thing that I kept in mind. I also like the ability to do 360s a little bit faster. Not like you need to do 360s that much, but we always take account of centimeters per 360. Meaning how many centimeters it takes for you to go a full 360 in game. So from this whole pro list, we could see that it ranges from around 12 centimeters for 360 all the way up to around 50 centimeters. Now 12 is on a very high end. You would need a very fast sensitivity to go only 12 centimeters to a full 360, and the opposite could be said around 50 centimeters. So you could fall anywhere in between that, and you are within the normal standard deviations of pro players in Rainbow Six Siege. So it really ranges mightily. However, I would stay on the lower end for sure, especially if you are newer to mouse and keyboard. But for me, I'm trying to spice it up. I'm trying to make it faster, and that's why I switched it over. So to find this exact sensitivity, we're going to hop into game now, and I'm going to throw you guys into a custom game and show you exactly the drill I would run to find that perfect sensitivity for you. So I want you guys to load up a game. I'm actually in a terrorist hunt, but a private match, whatever the heck you guys want to do, and find somewhere where you can practice doing 180s, okay? So for me, I put a bullet around where 180 is. It doesn't have to be completely precise, but somewhere around there, right? And all the way to the tree over here is a 180. So what you guys are going to want to do to just reset your brain a little bit is go all the way up here. You're going to want to go to control. So I'm going to want you guys to go somewhere just absurdly high, right? Way higher than you are right now, or lower, higher or lower. It doesn't really matter, but just start here and go here. Now, if you are over flicking, you're going to want to keep correcting this, right? As you guys can see, I'm all over the place with this sensitivity. So I would keep correcting this until I find my correct sensitivity. Now, I would go all the way down. And in my case, I found that to be 11. 11 was perfect for me on the way I wanted to play. Now, if I was doing a ARM player, right, it would be too much. Holy crap, that just made me jump out of my chair. Anyways, that's why it's good to be able to 180. Did you guys see that? Once we have the 180 down, that's the easy part. We just keep going until we did that, right? So we just keep doing this, right, until we get the 180 perfectly down to how we like it. Now, once we have that, we need to worry about our ADS sensitivity. So we've done our 180 drill because we're going to want to be able to do 180s. If we can't do 180s, then you are definitely going to struggle at situations like that where you're sitting there and then you have to flick back this way, okay? So that's why we do that. But once we have that down, we're going to want to find a soft wall somewhere. So we're going to go inside, clear out a few enemies, and find a soft wall of some sort. Now, once we have that, we'll be able to test our ADS sensitivity on what we want it to be. So we're going to go over to this wall and punch 2 holes in. I'm going to go over to the piano side so we can get a better representation of this. All right, we're cool now. This is why you should go into custom game instead of this, because I am an idiot and went into terrorist hunt. But just go somewhere where you could go like this, and you're going to want to get your ADS sensitivity so where this is very simple for you. So I'm going from back and forth, and I'm not missing at all right here at a very high speed. So you're going to want to start off slow, right? Just make sure that you can get the flick down. Get very close, because obviously you don't need to be on the middle of the circle every time. But you could practice this. You could put your gun in one shot and just, you know, shoot between them. That could be a good way to practice, but for me, I would go into ADS settings, and you are either going to have standard, where you could leave it at all 50, adjust down or up. Personally, I like to keep this at 50. This keeps everything the same. It's at a monitor distance coefficient 1:1. Now, if you guys want it to be different, like, or if you want it to be 1:1, as in like you move an inch this way on ADS and then you move ADS, it's going to be the same. Then you're going to want to copy these settings right here. This is 1:1 as far as I know. This is what the pros are using that like the 1:1. Personally, I actually like it slower, especially since I'm on the higher sense now. Since you're on a higher sense, you're going to want your ADS lower. If you're on a lower sense, you can rock with this and not get too shaky. Quite frankly, I think you get a little shaky whenever you're higher sense, so that's why I like to rock with the 50s, and it works really well for me. As you guys can see, when I was shooting back and forth there, I think all the bullets landed through the hole. So that's just a representation of that. So we're going to do something similar for console. We're going to hop over to console. That's the only part in game that you guys need to worry about. Other than that, it's all the stuff that we've talked about: DPI, eDPI, and 360 centimeters. Now, more importantly, you know, 180 is more important, but you know, let's go into the console settings now. So now onto the console part of this. Just so you guys know, I did play console for I think the first 2 years of this game before I got a gaming PC. Just so you guys know, it's totally worth the switch to shoot over to a gaming PC. So if you guys are contemplating and money's really not that big of an issue, at least for you wanting to get a gaming PC, definitely hop into that. So whenever I did play this game, there weren't so many settings, but left stick dead zone and all these settings right here, this is very important for you. You're going to want to turn this very low. In my opinion, I actually like to have this as low as possible. And this is really important because however hard you have to hit the left stick is basically what this is terming. So if you hit the left stick a little bit and your thing is up here, you're not actually going to start moving until you're at 50%. So you're going to have to push that button down 50% before you even start moving. So I like this to be in the lower range. So I would keep this within 10 to 5. So the next two things, you're gonna have the controller rotation and aim assist. So I played this game when there was only classic, so I actually prefer classic, but if you guys prefer the updated, then just go for that. You're gonna have to test that yourself though. I can't tell you that one, but for me it's classic. But aim assist, turn that thing off, okay? If you have it enabled, it's only gonna help you in terrace grounds or a terrace hunt, as it says here, situations, training grounds, etc. So just turn it off now, because if you're practicing in training grounds and then you get into real game and you don't have aim assist, then you know, what's the point in that? So now it's time to start testing, right? So we're gonna wanna do the same things as we did with the console. Now I'm still on the mouse and keyboard because I don't wanna plug that thing in right now. However, you're gonna wanna test the 180 as we did before, and just keep adjusting the horizontal down or up, I guess, depending on which way you're doing it. So you're going to adjust that up and down, and then you're going to want to do something different for vertical. So this one is the one that we're changing now. The vertical is usually going to be lower than the horizontal, and there's many reasons for that, but the main one, in my opinion, is for recoil control. So the thing you're going to want to do to test this is, I would honestly just go to a door frame or a window here or anything along this line, maybe a picture frame even, and you're just going to want to like trace it and just do L shapes, okay? These are going to be really your big movements. You're only going to have to really move this far, right? That's why I say door frames, because you're never going to have to move further than that. So something that's comfortable is always good, and also practice, you know, while shooting your weapon, you know? So be able to pull down on the stick, have that vertical not be too strong, and be able to control the recoil in a fashionary way. Obviously on the controller it's going to be harder, but you'll be able to find it by doing the same things we talked about with PC. The first thing you're going to want to do is be able to 180. Second thing you want to do is be able to actually control recoil, which is a little bit harder on console, I might say. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I used to rock with. 30-71-5-5. That is what I used to do. Now, I told you what you can do, obviously. Now, I'm going to give you guys all the things, because controller players, I know there's a lot of people struggling. Turn off vibration. Don't let that get in your head. You're going to have that disabled. Now, pick whatever sense you guys want. I do 30-71. I turn down dead zone. I think this should always be under 10. But if for some reason you have some stick drag or something along that line, you're going to want to offset these of some sort. So 5-5, 30, 71, 5-5 for me. Controller rotation on classic. This one's 100% personal preference. Disabled on aim assist, and gadget deployment, you're going to want this on advanced. Both of these, in my opinion, you're going to want on advanced. This is going to allow you to do like bandit tricking, hold your gadgets and not instantly set them down. And with drones, you're going to be able to throw it without instantly going into your drone. As for your ADS, you're going to want to do the same thing we talked about in the PC. You're going to want to go up to a wall here, okay? And you're going to want to see if you're going to want advanced or just basic. I would definitely recommend basic for controller, so just, you know, keep with 50 or go lower, go higher. But I wouldn't adjust every independent one, except if you really need it for some specific reason. I've never seen that reason being needed on controller, really. But for you guys that do need it, you know, I would do it with this way. So you're going to want to aim into one of these holes if you guys missed that part. And you're going to want to switch back and forth until you're able to do it fluently, like I'm doing right here, without overshooting or undershooting, okay? And to practice that, you go in and you just shoot with one bullet and you just practice the flick. Now, if you guys can get it closer, then that is better. You're going to want to try to, you know, get as close as you can to the hole. As you guys can see, all of these bullets are very, very close, or inside, as you can see. So do that, and then once you're there, you're just going to adjust it down or adjust it up, depending on how. If you're overshooting, go down. If you're undershooting, bring it up a little bit. But you could just do that with this slider, or you could go 1-to-1 on everything. Now this is the 1-to-1 settings. If you missed that, this is 1-to-1 up to date as of right now, but I believe that could change at any given moment. But this is what the pros are doing on PC, so I think it would be the same thing on console. However, I am more simple here, and this is what I like to go with. But keep in mind, this is all your preference, and this is a pretty fast sensitivity. I try to mimic as a console player, try to be as good as I can and kind of play more like a PC player. So that's why I rock with the 30-71. I don't know why I ended up at 71, but it just does. And this is the sense that we rock with on console. That's going to do it, but you guys should check out these two videos. I hand selected them for you, so I'd appreciate that a lot.